On July 22, 2017, Stephen Keenan went on what was for him a routine dive trip with his girlfriend, Alicia Zacchini. Stephen was known as an experienced diver and had helped numerous amounts of people get their diving license and was seen as the best safety diver in the world. But little did he know that this routine dive with the love of his life would be his last. Keenan grew up in Glasnevin, a suburb of Dublin. When his mother, Maura, died of illness when he was young, he realized he had to live for today and travel the world. Keenan visited Congo to view gorillas in the wild before traveling throughout Africa and settling in Dahab. He sensed a feeling of hope in what was described as a Mecca for divers. It was also there that he met a man called Mahmoud Barracuda, a local scuba diver. The two hit it off, and Keenan rapidly immersed himself in the local culture, learning Arabic before opening his own diving shop. His father recounted a phone call with his son in which he described his newfound passion. "I've discovered this new thing called freediving, and it's the business," he added. Due to the lack of air and safety equipment, freediving is one of the most dangerous sports in the world. Free divers' lives depend on their ability to hold their breath for minutes at a time as they swim underwater, sometimes to depths of more than 100 meters, and back to the surface without oxygen. Freedivers are accompanied by safety divers while they dive deep into the water, and they are rescued if they pass out due to a lack of oxygen. Keenan fell in love with the sport in 2009 while in the Dahab region. In 2013, he traveled to Kalamata, Greece, for the IDA World Championships, where he saved the life of world champion Alexei Molchanov. Normally, safety divers wait at 30 meters for the dives, but Molchanov had vanished. When he spotted him at 40 meters, he swam down and took him to the surface, saving his life in a move that could have killed him, but instead made him a sports legend. By 2015, he founded Dahab Freedivers with two friends to teach others how to dive in and around the Blue Hole. Before starting his own shop, he helped numerous divers all over the world with free diving record attempts. According to reports, the exceptionally talented Keenan coached and taught hundreds of divers in IDA, PADI, and EFR over the years, and he became chief of safety at numerous freediving events and organizations such as Vertical Blue freediving contests and other contests throughout the world. He also established Irish records in freediving before working together with Alessia Zacchini as her safety diver and coaching her to success. Later, she would become his girlfriend, and the two were inseparable ever since. That was up until that horrible day in the Blue Hole. It's a 120-meter sinkhole known as the Blue Hole, and the Divers Cemetery, about 5 miles north of Dahab in the Red Sea, has an arch that divers routinely try to reach by freediving, often with terrible results. It's thought to be the spot with the highest number of diver fatalities in the world, with up to 200 deaths documented in the last 15 years. According to The Guardian, thousands continue to flock here each year, unperturbed by the increasing number of plaques that hang on the cliff opposite to mark those who never returned. Many divers attempt to reach the arch, a 26-meter-long tunnel at a depth of 56 meters that is part of the Blue Hole. So what happened on that day in 2017? Conditions weren't ideal in the Egyptian dive mecca. Visibility wasn't good, and the winds were high enough, 20 miles per hour, that they were pushing the water around, conjuring currents that could push a freediver off course, Outside Magazine wrote about that specific day. Despite the difficulties, Zacchini continued her descent to the Blue Hole Arch, accompanied by Keenan as her safety diver. However, the then 25-year-old became disoriented. Keenan came to her help and assisted her in reaching the surface. She escaped unscathed, but he fainted out and ended up floating face down some distance away. Zacchini descended to the mouth of the arch along a line as planned, but became disoriented at depth. At a reported 50 meters, 164 feet, Keenan dashed to her help and began finning her to the surface. Zacchini returned safely, but Keenan blacked out underwater at an unknown depth. He was discovered floating face down on the surface, unresponsive. Despite repeated attempts to save his life, he could not be revived. Keenan seemed to have suffered an in-water blackout in the last 10 meters, 32 feet of the ascent. Due to where Keenan and Zacchini surfaced, there was a short delay in rescuing Keenan. It is understood he died whilst in a taxi to the hospital. That summer, one frequent observation was noted among the diving community. If it could happen to Stephen, it could happen to anyone. Following Keenan's passing, there were tributes from all across the world. Don Verhoeven, a freediving photographer, dubbed him our best safety diver, while Dr. Kerry Hollowell, a member of the U.S. National Freediving Team, remarked, "You knew he had your back. He would not bail on you." The world record holder, Alexei Molchanov, added, "He was the heart of the community." Zakini mentioned missing his hugs in a recent documentary, The Deepest Breath. "I try to remember his hugs. He's the person who taught me what it's really like to hug someone. From his hug, you'd understand how deeply he cared about you." She also expressed her grief at his demise. "Maybe I could have done more. If I'd been more conscious, I don't know," she said. "The worst thing is we couldn't do anything. We couldn't save him. He rescued me, but I couldn't rescue him," she adds. She also paid respect to Keenan on Instagram before of the documentary's debut. "The only reason I agreed to be a part of The Deepest Breath is to let the world know what a wonderful and special person Keenan was, so that even those who don't know what freediving is can appreciate his immense humanity," she wrote. Even for professionals like Dublin-born Stephen Keenan, the underwater cathedral at the Red Sea's edge was possibly the most dangerous diving destination in the world. What is the source of its dreadful reputation? It's difficult to estimate how many individuals died because there is no official record. Divers in Dahab claim to have seen up to 200 in recent years. Tarek Omar, 53, is one individual who refuses to speculate. Omar, a technical diver from Dahab, began investigating the Blue Hole in 1992, drawn by stories of a curse placed on it when an unhappy partner to an arranged marriage drowned there. Omar rose to fame in 1997 after recovering the remains of Conor O'Regan and Martin Gara. They were the first bodies recovered from the Blue Hole, he adds, adding that he has hauled more than 20 bodies from the sea since then, earning him the ominous title, the Bone Collector. As technical diving, a type of scuba that generally includes breathing specific gas mixes, has become increasingly popular in recent years, Omar has seen a surge in the number of deaths. Deaths of freedivers like Keenan are also a regular source of concern, with the sport gaining popularity since Luc Besson's 1988 film, The Big Blue, brought it to the world's notice. Others argue that the Blue Hole's frightening reputation is unwarranted as long as divers do their study and use proper caution. "It just isn't that dangerous," says instructor Alex Hayes, 32, who relocated to Dahab 7 years ago and operates the H2O Center. She has dived the Blue Hole several times and attributes the high number of deaths to idiots. She believes that the majority of the killings are the result of arrogance. "People do 100 dives and think they know it all," she says, "but they're not prepared for that kind of depth. A bit of knowledge can be a dangerous thing." Many of those who perished were swimming under the bridge. According to Hayes, this endeavor is comparable to climbing Kilimanjaro for scuba divers. Below 56 meters, the seawall comes to an end, revealing a vast, 26-meter-long tunnel connecting the Blue Hole to the open ocean. Those who descend 100 meters encounter a 50-meter-high aperture to the Red Sea. "It's beautiful," says Hayes. "There's nothing else like it. It's like standing in an underwater cathedral." But diving this deep is incredibly dangerous, and the impact on your body cannot be ignored. But these impacts can be mitigated with specialized equipment. Technical divers like Omar and Hayes routinely swim beneath the arch, but it's a costly sport that requires a lot of training, and many people are hesitant to put in the time. They want to get into deep water before they get into deep knowledge, Omar says. However, as divers continue to push the sport's boundaries, new hazards emerge. Omar claims he has never believed in the Blue Hole's curse, but after 20 years of fishing bodies out of it, he is certain of one thing. The people who dive here, he claims, have created their own curse. And Keenan's story seems to be another story that adds up to the curse, and just shows us all that even the most professional and experienced divers are risking their life every time they go underwater.